It's time we start talking about the Bell Center, maybe being the best venue to watch any sport worldwide.
And the crowd loves it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Recently, I've been doing a lot of recap videos here on this channel and talking about every single game that's happened within the past 48 hours, but I don't think I've been giving enough attention to these series in these videos, so I'm going to try something a little bit different moving forward for the playoffs, and that's just talking about series when something really crazy happens and focusing on the individual efforts of these teams. And the one series that I know a lot of people were less interested in this year was the Washington Capitals versus the Montreal Canadiens. The Capitals had an incredible season. The Montreal Canadiens, while overperforming, were still seen as underdogs, and I believe the vast majority of people were on the side of the Capitals. But for me, I felt like Montreal just had too much spunk to not win a first round series. That's why I picked them in 7. And last night's game, it confirmed a lot of my beliefs. So I'm going to break down what happened last night and why this game was different for the Montreal Canadiens compared to games 1 and 2. So let's start with the positives for this team, because I believe this was a huge game for Montreal and it could potentially be a momentum swinger for them. 1, their primary scorers continue to stay hot. Nick Suzuki has been fantastic, and looking back, I don't know how he didn't get a spot on Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off. Cole Caulfield finally lights the lamp after not having one in Game 2 and getting that cross-check to his face. You could tell he was playing with a little bit more edge, and most importantly, Slafkovsky gets on the board. I think they're going to need him when it starts to get into those games 5, 6, and 7s where they need a little bit more scoring outside of Suzuki and Caulfield. And him being their first overall pick from a few years back, I think it's going to be vitally important for him to lock in and try to keep playing with that confidence. So that's a great sign for Montreal. The other thing is their secondary scoring. In games 1 and 2, it felt like Montreal wasn't generating any chances outside of that top line. And a lot of people were chirping players like Patrik Laine, who's making a significant contract on this team, but outside of a few of his power play efforts, he just looks like he's way too slow, behind on plays, and not putting a lot of effort in. And I actually think in Game 3, they had a little bit more of a advantage on their power play, if you will, because in games 1 and 2, it was almost predictable that they were trying to send it over to Laine for that one-timer, and every time he took a shot, it would just hit the side of the net or go right into Logan Thompson's pad. Again, very predictable. But in this one, they were getting the puck cycled around the zone, the defense was helping out, Lane Hutson had this beautiful assist on a Cole Caulfield goal, and we saw more shots coming from the point, allowing them to set up in their offensive zone, get in front of Logan Thompson, and provide them with a little bit more energy and a boost when it came to their offense. So I think that was awesome for them in this game. And if they want to beat out Washington, that's what they're going to need to do. Now, here's the thing that I think Montreal did the best in this game. They didn't try to out-physical the Washington Capitals. And you might say, well, Jimmy, no, they had this big brawl on the bench. They're trying to stand up to them. And that's not what I'm talking about. It's important to stand up and show, hey, you're not just going to bump us around. That is absolutely true. But the thing is, Washington is way bigger than Montreal. That's their style of game. They have those guys like Carlson and Wilson who will get in your face. They're not afraid to fight or make these little crying faces at you. That's their game. They want you to play on your edges and they want you to feel afraid of them. But for Montreal, if you're trying to step up, you're gonna lose. So rather than do that, you need to try and out-finesse them. Play to your strengths like we just talked about. Use your high-end, skillful top-line players. Get your depth scoring involved. Get guys like Lane Hutson to be a little bit more shifty and not really try to step up to them physically. That's the key to this series. And I think Montreal did a fantastic job exploiting that in this one and getting themselves a win in the win column. I just think that was so important for this matchup compared to games 1 and 2. Now I want to flip to the negative side of things because I do feel like there were a few things that concerned me with this Montreal team, but more specifically with their defense. Now in the first game and the second game, I thought Montembeault was incredible and gave them every opportunity to try and win those matchups. And I believe even in game 3, he put them in a good position too before being pulled out, I believe with an injury that he had. But in this game specifically, the defense just looked incredibly out of position. This one specific play that I can remember short because I don't have the video right in front of me. This guy right here is diving on the floor. I can't remember the name, so don't harp on me. I just remember the play because I remember watching and being like, what is happening? He dives on the ground. There's like 3 Washington Capitals available to grab that puck, and I believe it was Gooley coming into the play who just isn't putting any effort to try and skate back and get his stick in the right position. I don't think in this scenario you should ever be laying on your belly. It was so easy for them to just push it right under your stick and get that one-timer. I think it was Ovechkin who tucked it home. Just not the right play you need to have here. And in other situations, I'm also going to toss on the screen. These are just a few defensive lapses that I think could have been preventable if Montreal just played the position a little bit more better. You could say that's a little bit of a lack of talent. You could say it's a lack of experience, whatever you want to call it. That needs to be cleaned up because you're not going to score 6 goals every night. Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren are too good for that. So you got away with it in this one. Clean it up in the next game and don't make your team score 5 or 6 goals to win in a matchup. Now, as for the fight, I think that this was actually kind of a win for Montreal, and you could say, well, Wilson kind of dummied Anderson, but I kind of disagree. I think just standing up to a guy like Wilson and showing that even though you guys do lack your physicality, that you're not intimidated by a team like Washington, and that you're going to be in this series for the long haul. Even if that means you end up losing in 5 or 6, or maybe you do come out on top, which I'm predicting. I just think that these are the moments that are really important because later on in the series, it's only going to get more physical. You guys are going to grow this rivalry and it's going to get more ticky-tack with the calls and all of this stuff that just might not go in Montreal's way if they start to back down from Washington. So in my opinion, that was a good sign. I want to see guys like Anderson continue to step up, guys like Wi-Fi put his nose in things. I think for Montreal, if you come away from this game with anything, it's that your team looks a lot more experienced than a lot of people were anticipating. So moving forward to game 4, what would I like to see the Canadiens do? I really want to see them expand on some of the better things they did in this game. One, continue with your secondary scoring, get guys like Jake Evans and Newhook involved a little bit more, and if Patrick Laine is back in the lineup, try and change up his role a little bit. Don't just make him a power play merchant where he stands in his office and rips off 1-Ts. Yes, it works every now and then, but when your whole power play is built off that, like I mentioned earlier, it just becomes a little bit too predictable. As for your defense, you got to go back, watch the film, and fix some of these terrible plays that you had because Washington will eventually expose you on more of these if you continue to just mishandle the puck or misread the play. They're just too good to let you do that continuously. And as for goaltending, if Montembeault is out, that is a bit of a blow because he's been playing so well and giving you so many extra saves to keep you in these. But I do think that Dobas is going to be just as good, and if they can somehow get their defense to be a little bit more structured, I believe he can still help them win a few more games in this series. But that will be something to pay attention to. As for Washington, like I said, they're on their heels. I do think they're still a really tough team, and they could still beat Montreal in this one, especially since they have the lead. And if they can grab one at the Bell Center and somehow come out of this 3-1, I think the series will be over. So game 4 is going to be really important for Montreal, but I really liked what I saw in game 3, and I'm feeling really optimistic about the future of this series for the Canadiens. But hey, let me know what you guys think about this video and just this full breakdown, if you enjoy these more singular team breakdowns, or if you like the whole cover every single team in kind of 2 days thing. Just let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you guys as always for watching these videos. If you enjoyed this one, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next episode.